This happens every night. I finally sit down or lay down, the first moment all day where the noise stops and I actually have a little space to breathe, and my brain immediately fills it in. First, it's the list of everything I didn't get done that day that's moving to tomorrow. Then it shifts. Now I'm replaying the day. That conversation that didn't go the way I wanted, something I said that came out wrong, something I forgot to say, something I forgot completely. What did I screw up today that needs to be fixed tomorrow? And now I'm getting out of bed to write it down so I don't lose it and fix it tomorrow. Sound familiar? Stay, because we are actually going to talk about what is going on up there, and I'm going to tell you what I do to take control of my own brain and get it back at the end of the day. Because letting it run the show on its own, that's not working for either of us. I'm Caroline. I am right here in the middle of all of this with you, so let's talk. First, I want to talk about what's actually happening. You've probably heard the word overthinking thrown around a lot. You probably use that word yourself. But I want to be clear about what it is, because understanding that changes everything about how you approach it. So remember, we talked about a couple of videos ago, we talked about your nervous system and how it's designed to scan for threats. It's always asking, is there something I need to pay attention to? Is there something I missed? Is there something coming that I need to prepare for? That's not a malfunction. That's your brain doing its job. The problem is, when you've been living in survival mode for as long as we have, that threat scanning doesn't stop when the day ends. It follows you into the shower. It follows you into the car, into the bed, into every single quiet moment that you finally get. And that's because it's been running on high alert for so long, it has a lot of material to work with. Every unresolved conversation, every decision, every second guess, everything you didn't get done, everything you should have done differently. Your brain isn't torturing you. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. It's trying to prepare you for tomorrow. It's just doing it in the least helpful way possible and at the worst possible time. And here's the thing about overthinking that we maybe don't even fully realize. It feels like problem solving, right? It feels productive. Like if you just think about it enough, you'll figure it out and then you can finally rest. But you never quite get there, do you? Because overthinking isn't problem solving. It's your nervous system spinning its wheels. And the more you let it run, the more exhausted you get without actually resolving anything. That's the hamster wheel. Always spinning, never going anywhere, never quiet. So what does the overthinking loop actually look like for us? Because I think that it has some very specific flavors for Gen X women in midlife. There's the replay loop. That's the one I described in my nightly routine. Replaying conversations, replaying decisions, going back through the day, looking for what I could have done better. Thinking about what should I have said, what I wish that I hadn't said. And then there's the what if loop. What if this doesn't work out? What if I made the wrong call? What if I missed something or I missed my window? What if I can't recover from this? What if it's too late? And there's also the not enough loop. Did I do enough today? Am I doing enough for my kids, for my parents, for my job? Am I enough? Have I fallen too far behind to catch up? And another one is the too late loop. I should have started sooner. I should have made different choices. I wasted too much time. I'm too old to start over. That one is a lie too, just like all the rest, but when you're exhausted and your brain is running unsupervised in the quiet, it feels very, very true. And finally, let's talk about the loop that I think hits the hardest for a lot of us right now in midlife, and that is watching our kids struggle. Our kids are older now, some of them are adults, and we're watching them go through hard things. Anxiety, depression, failed relationships, financial struggles, finding their own way. And instead of just being their mom and loving them through it, our brain turns it into evidence that we did something wrong. I worked too much. I wasn't present enough. I was too strict. I wasn't strict enough. I should have gotten them into therapy. I should have gotten them into therapy sooner. I should have seen the signs. I should have handled the situation differently when they were 12. That one thing that I said when they were 9, did that do this? did I cause this? And now they're struggling, and I'm sitting here at midnight building a case against myself. That is one of the heaviest loops a mother can run, and it's the one that almost nobody talks about because admitting it feels like admitting that you failed them. But here's what I need you to hear. Your kids' struggles are not a report card on your mothering. They are human beings navigating a genuinely hard world, a world that is harder in many ways than the one we grew up in. Their pain is real, and it is not your fault. You did not ruin your kids. You raised them with what you had, what you knew, and how much you loved them. And that matters more than you know. So did all of this sound familiar? I'm guessing you recognized yourself in at least one or two, or maybe three of those overthinking loops. Believe me, I get it. I'm right there with you. So here's the thing about all of those loops. They feel productive. They feel like you're doing something. Like if you just think about it long enough, you'll finally land on the answer and you can rest. Remember what we talked about a couple of videos ago. Your nervous system stays on high alert until it gets a signal that the threat has been resolved. Overthinking is your brain trying to resolve threats through thinking alone, and it can't. Because here's the truth about every single loop we just talked about. The replay loop can't be resolved by replaying it. What's done is done. The what if loop can't be resolved because the future hasn't happened yet. You can't think your way into certainty. The not enough loop, that can't be resolved because the bar keeps moving. There's always more you could have done. And the mom guilt loop, the worst one, that one can't be resolved at midnight by yourself in the dark. So your nervous system keeps scanning, keeps running the loops, keeps looking for a resolution that thinking alone can never provide. Meanwhile, you're lying there trying to rest and your brain is working harder than it did all day. That is not a personal failing. That is a nervous system that just doesn't know how to stand down, even when you finally give it a chance. And the answer is not to think harder. It's to do something completely different. So here's what I actually do. And to be clear, I didn't invent this, but I do it every single night, and it genuinely changed how I end my day. The first thing I do is make a decision, a conscious, intentional decision that I am going to take charge of what happens in my brain right now. Because here's what I've learned. My brain is going to think about something. That's what brains do. The question is whether I'm going to choose what that something is or if I'm going to let the loops choose for me. So I choose. I'm in the driver's seat, and here's how I do it. I do something called a butterfly hug. That's when I cross my arms over my chest like this, and I alternate tapping left to right, slowly and gently. It sounds simple, and it is simple, but what it's actually doing is grounding my nervous system. It's bringing me back into my body, out of my head, and into the present moment. It's the same principle as the grounding techniques that we talked about before. You're sending your nervous system the signal that it's safe and that it can stand down. And while I'm doing that, the butterfly hug, I redirect my thoughts intentionally. Instead of thinking about what did I screw up today, I ask myself, what did I actually accomplish today? What did I do right? What am I grateful for? I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I'm not giving myself fist bumps or high fives. I'm not pretending that the hard stuff didn't happen. I'm just deliberately choosing to give my brain something true and good to hold on to instead of letting it build a case against me in the dark, worrying about tomorrow. I can work on what needs to happen tomorrow. Right now, I need to relax and get myself nice and grounded and safe so that my nervous system can stand down. Now, if while I'm doing this, something real comes up, something important, like maybe a conversation I need to revisit with one of my kids, something I really need to address tomorrow, I don't just push it down or pretend it didn't happen. I get up and I write it down and I give it a place to live outside of my head so that my nervous system can let go for tonight. Because once it's written down, it's been seen, it's been acknowledged, and my nervous system and my brain don't have to keep scanning for it. And then I go back to the butterfly hug, back to what did I do right today, back to gratitude for all the things that went well that day. That's it. That's the whole thing. It just takes a couple of minutes and it feels really nice. It doesn't fix everything. It doesn't solve the problems that I'm working through, but it puts a smile on my face as I see all the things that went well and what I accomplished throughout the day. And just to be clear, I count everything. If it took effort to coax myself out of bed, I did it, and that counts. If I made breakfast for everyone like I always do, it counts because I did it again today. I give myself as much evidence as I can that I am safe. And what I accomplished today, no matter how imperfectly it may have been accomplished, was enough. It got done, and that is progress, and that is good, and it feels good. The point is that this practice gives me back the wheel and that feeling that I'm in charge of what happens in my own mind. And that changes everything. There are lots of things that you can do to calm your nervous system down. It doesn't have to be the butterfly hug. In fact, I have some grounding tools over at joyreturning.com that support exactly this kind of practice. And in the journal, when life feels like too much, we walk through a whole bunch of techniques step by step to learn them and practice them throughout the month. So they become second nature instead of something that you have to remember when you're already spinning. So start tonight if you want to. Just try it once. Try the butterfly hug or another method that you know. It could be slow breathing. It could be bilateral stimulation. It could be the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique, or your own thing that you know that works for you. And while you do it, think about, what did I do right today? It doesn't have to be a long list. I like making the list as long as possible, but you don't have to. Even 3 things will help. Try it today and see what happens. So here's where we are in this conversation. Survival mode doesn't just live in your body, and it doesn't just live in your mental load. It lives in your thoughts too. In that loop that runs the moment you finally get a quiet moment. In the cases your brain builds against you in the dark. But here's what I want you to remember. Your brain running those loops is not proof that you're broken or that you failed or that it's too late. It's just a nervous system that has been working overtime for a very long time trying to keep you safe. And you can take the wheel back, one intentional thought at a time. This video is the 5th one in our survival mode series. If you're just finding this channel, there are links to the previous videos at the end of this and in the description below. I would start from the beginning so you can follow the process all the way through so you know what I'm talking about. Come back Thursday because that's where we start to talk about making peace with yourself. And that one I think might be the most important conversation that we had yet. Hit subscribe so you don't miss Thursday and leave a comment. We help each other when we share. It helps to know that we're not alone and find some suggestions and solutions that other people do. Tell me which loop you run the most. Do you run the replay, the what if, the not enough, the mom guilt, or the it's too late loop? Which one plagues you the most and how do you manage it? I see you. I'm right here with you doing this work with you, and I'll see you soon.